Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om 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 Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam, we welcome all of you to Nithyananda TV. This is your host, Sri Nitya Brahma Sukhananda Maharaj. And today we welcome all of you, all the viewers from all across the globe on this very, very special occasion. KAILASA is celebrating the International Day of Peace, which is the celebration and the commemoration of the collective resolve of the humanity to ensure and create world peace, to create a world without any conflicts, with human beings, in fact all the beings, living with peace and harmony and with prosperity. So today is the day declared by the United Nations as the World Peace Day, officially known as the International Day of Peace on the 21st of September. And KAILASA, the first Hindu nation, the revival of the ancient enlightened Hindu civilizational nation by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, is embarking on a very special and grand endeavor to make this dream of world peace into reality. So this great endeavor that we are talking about is KAILASA's Minutes for Peace, which is a continuous, ongoing, unbroken meditation session with people from all across the globe, especially KAILASA's embassies from all over the world, taking part in it and chanting the Mahavakya together as a global community to make sure that we are collectively evolving spiritually and our inner space becomes more mature and we give a superconscious breakthrough to ourselves and to the entire globe. And it is only through this inner transformation, as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism puts it, that we will be able to manifest the peace outside. It is only when we manifest inner peace first, through the manifestation of Paramashanta Swarupa, of Paramashiva. It is from that inner peace, the space of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, as it is traditionally called in Hinduism, in Sanskrit, as the Vedas and Agamas describe. From the space of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, complete completion, the space without any powerlessness, without any fear and greed patterns, it is from that space that we manifest real peace outside of us, be it in our individual selves, our lives, our family, our community, our colleagues, and at the grand scale of nation and of world itself. So, as marking the collective declaration to manifest the global peace, the world peace, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has blessed this KAILASA Minutes for Peace initiative, which is a 32-hour long continuous Mahavakya chanting, which people from all across the globe are taking part, and we are inviting you also to become a part of this great endeavor, the global Akhanda Nirvikalpa Samadhi Jnana Yajna, and become a co-creator for the world with peace and harmony. So all of you who want to join this great endeavor, which is even happening continuously right now, please head on to kailasa.org/peace and become a part of this great endeavor. So now moving on to today's celebration and a great announcement that we have for all of you. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, will be blessing all of us and gracing us with live presidential address, very special presidential address today on the occasion of the International Day of Peace, as we prepare ourselves for the Global Peace Conclave, highlighted by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's presidential address, which is going to start at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So we are preparing for this very special occasion to receive the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, his message, his blessings, to create a world full of peace, harmony, and prosperity. So as part of that preparation to receive the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, we are sharing with the people from all across the globe, not only the common citizens of the global community, but also especially the world leaders who are responsible for their nations, for a huge group of people, and informing them about the great efforts and contributions which are made by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism throughout his public life, and the revival of the KAILASA, the first Hindu nation, which he is doing single-handedly with sheer hard work, sharing all the contributions with the global community, to share with everyone how KAILASA is transforming the entire globe with the peace initiatives, with the SPH, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, being the peace ambassador, being a catalyst of change, of transformation for the world today. So as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the main focus of his entire life is just contribution. He shares with all of us, want the whole world to know. Hindus have so much to contribute to the world. We have great gifts which have been passed down to us from great sages and incarnations, each and every generation of enlightened masters. And Hindus even today are the greatest contributors, and we have so much to contribute to the entire globe, entire global community. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, is the reviver of Kailasa, the indigenous ancient enlightened Hindu civilizational nation. Committed to the individual transformation of humanity and to achieve world peace, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has contributed tirelessly in all walks of life as a peace ambassador, serving as an inspiration for continuous selfless contribution. So as you can see from the pictures of the young Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, how from his very early childhood, the very upbringing in the sacred town of Tiruvannamalai in Tamil Nadu, he was brought up in a very powerful spiritual ecosystem, groomed personally by enlightened masters, gurus, especially Paramashiva himself, coming down in the form of the Guru, Arunagiri Yogeshwara, and training the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism for reviving the ancient science of Sanatana Hindu Dharma on planet Earth. Through the revival of Kailasa, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, aims not only to revive this ancient civilization, but also through this to serve all people, uniting all nations, and create a world with peace and prosperity. Now moving on to the global services, so many projects which are taken up by the United States of Kailasa, especially under the Kailasa's Department of State. For example, saffron Om, red Om, blue Om, white Om, yellow Om, and green Om, providing services in various different dimensions to human beings in the world today. Saffron Om, which works for world peace, conflict resolution, and religious freedom. That is the focus of the Saffron Om initiative. The Red Om initiative mainly focuses on the relief work for natural and man-made calamities, disasters, working to eliminate world hunger. The Blue Om works for animal rights and prevention of cruelty towards animals. White Om provides psychological healing, spiritual counseling, and a superconscious breakthrough to the entire humanity. Yellow Om provides Satvidya, that is yogic Ayurvedic solutions and access to the ancient Hindu knowledge, which is beneficial for the entire humanity and has the potential to solve all the conflicts, all the problems that we face as human beings today. Green Om mainly focuses on protecting the environment, our ecosystem, the natural ecosystem, our habitat. So as we see from all these initiatives, the global services, which are mainly comes under the umbrella of these 6 Oms, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is mainly creating a new world free of all the conflicts, where all the problems of the humanity, be it in any of these dimensions, can be solved from the powerful solutions gifted to us by our ancient rishis, munis, incarnations, siddhas, all the enlightened beings, all across the ages, who have preserved this knowledge system through the spiritual ecosystems and the Guru Parampara, that is the unbroken lineage of masters and disciples through which this knowledge has been preserved for us. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving this knowledge system and providing solutions to real problems from all across the globe, be it disaster relief, be it solving the problem of world hunger, poverty, conflict resolution, health, education, human rights, any field be it, there is a solution given in the Vedas and Agamas, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is directly providing, proactively contributing to the entire humanity. Now, first of these major solutions which the Kailasa is offering to ensure a world with peace and prosperity is the revival of temple ecosystems. Kailasa is a place where everything related to superconsciousness is revived. All the sampradayas, all the spiritual ecosystems created for enlightenment will be revived and established in such a way it never gets lost again. They are forever serving the humanity. That's what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has shared with us as his vision for the temple ecosystem, the revival of this temple-based civilization, and what great gifts it can bring to the entire humanity. Since 1994, when the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, at the age of 16, was first initiated as the successor of the ancient spiritual kingdom of Tiruvannamalai, the Adi Arunachala Sarvagnya Peetham, with the Yoga Bhattabhishekam by his Guru Mataji Vibuddhananda Puri. Since then, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has worked tirelessly for the revival of temple ecosystems globally through Kailasa's Department of Religion and Worship and Department of Human Services, led by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. This lifelong commitment to the vision of bringing the global harmony and peace to the entire world has been undertaken by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism through his active contributions. So as we are seeing how the revival of the temple ecosystem has been happening by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism since he began his public life. You see how the peacekeepers of Kailasa and participants of the Paramashivoham meditation program and the global conventions, how they take part in the celebrations of traditional flag hoisting ceremonies and various other rituals. And all these rituals have the power to transform our inner space, as we were speaking earlier, connecting us to our source, the consciousness, the super consciousness of Paramashiva, from which emerges the inner peace, the permanent peace, Paramashanta inside us, and then only it gets transformed and transferred into the outer world peace as well. And we see the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducting the Nithyananda Spurana Convention, the meditation workshop in Chennai. And as we go on and on, seeing how thousands and thousands of people attending each of these programs getting transformed. This is in Tiruvannamalai, how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is giving darshan to millions of devotees who flock just to get one glimpse from the Supreme Pontiff and to have his initiation, have his darshan, because they know the benefit, how it transforms their inner space. And they start manifesting peace and bliss in their lives, complete fulfillment in all the dimensions, even the outer world aspects. We see the participants and the disciples collectively coming together, performing the rituals, puja, Guru Puja, Shiva Puja, which they are initiated into by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, which has the power again for them to connect with Paramashiva, with the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, connect with their source consciousness, bring completion into their inner space, and have spiritual transformation and superconscious breakthrough. And as part of various festival celebrations, we see Annadan happening again and again. One of the major contributions of Kailasa, which we will be coming to in a few minutes, is the sacred Annadan offering, the offering of free food for all, free organic sattvic vegetarian food, which is offered to visitors to the Kailasa's spiritual embassies, to the temples, served on all the major occasions, and many of the spiritual embassies continuously serving 24/7 this Annadan. For example, Kailasa in Tiruvannamalai, the Shamala Pita Sarvagnya Pita, Kailasa in Madurai, Kailasa in Los Angeles, where continuously devotees come and they are served with free vegetarian meals, prasadam, which is blessed, consecrated by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself, who is the manifestation, the living manifestation of Paramashiva for our times. And as we see how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself has taken part in this Annadan offering, especially during the various disaster relief programs which Kailasa embarked on. For example, in Thane, flood relief. In which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself, and along with his sannyasis, the Sovereign Order of Kailasa, the monks and nuns, they came together to support and serve the people who were affected, the victims of the natural calamity that they faced. And we see the medical camps and all other various services which are offered by Kailasa to elevate the humanity from all its problems and to bring the world to a more peaceful and harmonious state. We see Kailasa's ecosystems spreading all across the world in more than 150 countries. On the left is a picture of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism with his Guru Mataji Buddhananda Puri during the Yoga Pattabhishekam ceremony. And on the right we see the Kailasa in Tiruvannamalai, where people are queued up to receive the darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, to have darshan of the temple, and to take part in various programs and spiritual conventions which are organized there on a regular basis. Again, we see the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself serving the devotees, offering free food, annadan, prasadam. How he tirelessly himself takes part in each of these activities, leading by example. Now, these are the photographs of various temple ecosystems which have been revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. This is the Kailasa in Tiruchengodu, the Tiruchengodu Sarvagnya Peetham. Here we see the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism laying the foundation for the Kailasa in Bengaluru, the Adi Kailasa Nithyananda Sarvagnya Peetham, and the sacred banyan tree, who is Paramashiva himself, residing in this powerful spiritual ecosystem. We are seeing the various temple ecosystems, powerful spiritual ecosystems which have been revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, serving millions and millions of people, of devotees, disciples, and visitors who come and attend various workshops, programs, enjoying the fruits of the inner transformation that they witness in these initiations, in these programs, in these workshops, in these conclaves, spiritual conventions. And then they go on to contribute to more and more people, spreading this message and this power of spiritual transformation to more and more people all across the world. All these deities in these temples are being personally energized, and in many of these places personally even crafted and sculpted by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And these deities are the direct representations and the manifestations of the superconscious energy of Paramashiva in various forms, giving the superconscious breakthrough to all the devotees and disciples. So many temple ecosystems have been revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. In Kailasa's Department of Religion and Worship and the Department of Human Services, and each of Kailasa's temple ecosystems consider the right of happiness to be the highest fundamental right of all humans, in fact all beings. The ultimate goal for Hinduism and Kailasa, led by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, is the material and spiritual well-being and prosperity of humanity. Next is Annadan, as we have been already discussing, the serving of free food and making sure that we create a world with no hungry home and no hungry stomach. That is the vision of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. The traditional distribution of free vegetarian organic food for people of all caste, creed, religion, race, gender, social standing. That is Annadan. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism giving the vision of this Annadan, Kailasa's Annadan, which is the Aushadha Annadan. We really go into the depths of it, because the food that is served is first consecrated by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself, and it consists of all the Ayurvedic and Siddha herbs, medicines, which have a direct impact on our system, a healing impact, and actually have the power to alleviate us of our diseases and disorders and ailments. So the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares, we will revive the food supply system of Kailasa. Before you get hungry, food will be ready. Continuous Annadan. I am not giving any fantasy. It is already becoming reality. And as we see, every Purnami, every full moon day in Kailasa and Tiruvannamalai, thousands and thousands of people are receiving this Annadan. And every single day, people coming and visiting the Kailasa and Tiruvannamalai are also offered free Annadan. And so is the case with so many other spiritual embassies of Kailasa all over the world where Annadan is being offered. Annadan makes sure that all the problems associated with food insecurity in the world are completely solved. Because we have seen, and so many of the statistics also show, that due to food insecurity, a lot of the crimes are actually happening in our society. It is a basic, fundamental problem which we have as a civilization of not being able to provide for the basic necessities to all the living beings, which creates a lot of anger and violence in the society, giving rise to a lot of crime and conflict. So when we solve this basic need of all the humans, providing free food for all, because food is fundamentally one need for which all of us are running day and night. So when this basic need is solved, most of the conflicts and anger and violence in the society can be simply eliminated. And that's what actually is happening as we see Annadan being offered in various places. Many of the authorities of law and order agencies, they come and report, they've reported that the crime rate has suddenly fallen down in their region, in their area, after the Annadan has started. And we see again how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism started the Kailasa's Annalaya, offering Annadan free food service to all, how he himself initiated this whole project with a great vision. And in this picture, we especially see the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, even with a fractured hand, taking part in this Annadan Seva. How his integrity to his vision and mission, which is basically the vision and mission of Paramashiva himself for the entire planet Earth, which he has come down to make into reality. His integrity to that mission and that vision. He doesn't let anything else come in the way. Even with a fractured hand, he is serving the devotees with free food offering. You see again, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in Thane flood relief, how he himself is taking part in offering Annadan. Again and again we see the tireless work of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, single-handedly reviving Kailasa, the ancient Hindu civilizational nation. Till now, 1 billion people, 1 billion free meals have been served as part of Kailasa's Aushadha Annadan. And the number is just growing and growing and growing. Ensuring the world with prosperity where all the needs, basic needs are met. It is the principle of Paramashiva's economy that all the basic needs of food, education, health have to be provided free of cost, and it ensures a more harmonious and peaceful society. That is what is the vision of great rishis and incarnation of Hinduism, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is now reviving on the planet Earth. Countless Annadan Seva offerings, millions and millions of people being served. The Vedagamas, the source of Hindu scriptures, they declare Annam Bahu Kurvedi. Let us produce food in large quantities. Even our scriptures, it is embedded. The very foundation is laid down for all of us to flourish together as collective society, as humanity, to produce in plenty and share in plenty, so that there is no conflict, there is no fight, there is no violence, because everything is in plenty and excess. Complete abundance for life. Hinduism is nothing but for life principles that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving all over the globe, leading to a more peaceful and prosperous society. Another very important aspect of this revival of Kailasa is the libraries, the indigenous Hindu libraries, which are reviving the knowledge-based tradition, which is known as Hinduism, the Sanatana Hindu Dharma. What was once passed on orally from time immemorial has, in the last few thousand years, begun being transmitted through a written word in the form of palm leaf scriptures, books and libraries. Only if you read the original Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, Bhagavad Gita, you will understand the reality, the truth, what I stand for. That is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism revealing to us. Jnanalaya, Grantha Samadhi, Hindu traditional library has principles like books are the living representatives of Devi Saraswati and Bhagavan Dakshinamurti, meaning they express the authenticity of the truth. And by reviving the Hindu library, the Jnanalaya, and all the scriptures, all the knowledge of Sanatana Hindu Dharma on planet Earth, and sharing it with the people, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is ensuring that through Kailasa, the first Hindu nation, the entire humanity is again reinitiated with this sacred, powerful, ancient science of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, and they live a life free of conflicts, full of wisdom, prosperity, peace, and enlightenment, most importantly. The United Nations has also declared, as part of their Assembly on Indigenous Peoples, centuries of history and discrimination, exploitation, dispossession, and colonization have led to the loss of traditional knowledge. Traditional knowledge is under threat and is being misused and misappropriated. Indigenous peoples' traditional knowledge has been developed over generations through daily life practices and a close understanding of local environments. It can offer valuable response to climate change, food insecurity, reducing inequalities, and other challenges that we are trying to resolve. So even the United Nations, the entire global community, the international community understands that it has recognized how important these ancient knowledge systems are, the indigenous knowledge systems are, which are almost completely being eliminated in the present day and which need collective effort to be revived, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is single-handedly spearheading as a leader in this whole transformation and this revival of the ancient knowledge systems on planet Earth. So from the earlier original 100 million source books of Hinduism, barely 20% remain today. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, through the revival of the Hindu traditional indigenous library, the Nithyananda Jnanalaya, has ensured that the preservation of these remaining scriptures, manuscripts, books, literature is ensured and also digitized and made available, easily accessible to the entire humanity today. We have an example of Nalanda University, the library, which was the global hub of knowledge at that time. It was completely destroyed by the invaders, by the anti-Hindu forces. The library burned continuously for 6.5 months. In the 12th century, thousands of students were murdered, thousands were beheaded, millions of manuscripts and thousands of sincere scholars were destroyed, were eliminated, and they can never be replaced. So much of destruction and loss for the collective humanity we have witnessed in the last 2000 years, due to which we have lost 80% at least of our ancient knowledge system and all the literature. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is now reviving. It is his mission to revive the world's lost wisdom, the ancient science and indigenous knowledge traditions for the benefit of humanity through KAILASA's Nithyananda Hindu Library, or the Jnanalaya. KAILASA's Nithyananda Hindu Library has collected 100,000 physical literatures on Hinduism, 400,000 digital literature, more than 240 million pages of indigenous Hindu knowledge have been preserved and even digitized. We have collaborated with 5 traditional libraries, including the most ancient Hindu monasteries, for the preservation of their traditional sampradaya-related knowledge systems. Yogic scriptures, scriptures on Shaiva Siddhanta, Kashmiri Shaivism, Ayurveda, medicine, all dimensions of Hindu knowledge system, the scriptures related to that, the preservation and digitization, that is the mission of the Nithyananda Hindu Library, and making them available to the contemporary humanity for their betterment, for their evolution, to make this world a better place. Because the entire literature, Hindu literature, is nothing but peace literature. Even all the mantras end with the word Shanti, 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 which means peace, peace, peace. So each and every shloka in the Vedas and Upanishads and Agamas, they are nothing but a redeclaration and reaffirmation of peace, inner and outer, so that we can thrive as humanity collectively and reach our ultimate goal, which is oneness with Paramashiva, having superconscious breakthrough, enjoying it ourselves and making others enjoy it. That is the mission of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism through Kailasa. Now, coming to the education, one of the most fundamental sources of transformation, which has the power to transform the entire humanity, is education. And Kailasa is reviving the traditional indigenous Hindu education through the Gurukul system and the Hindu University, the Nithyananda Hindu University. The whole Gurukul, real Hindu Gurukul, Hindu University atmosphere I had in Tiruvannamalai in 1970s is what I'm trying to reproduce all over the world through Nithyananda Gurukul and the online e-Gurukul. That's what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares, his vision for the Nithyananda Gurukul. Today, education is known to be the key factor to enabling upwards socio-economic mobility and the strongest means of removing poverty. The right education is crucial to the well-being, stability and growth of not only every child but entire humanity as a whole. The Gurukul system is known to be the knowledge transmission system of Hinduism, one of the pillars which kept Sanatana Hindu Dharma alive and standing as the world's most ancient living civilization. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has made it his mission to revive this ancient knowledge transmission system of Hinduism through the Gurukul and Nithyananda Hindu University. Gurukul basically is nothing but living in the Guru's home. The Gurukul system is rooted on the Guru Shishya Sampradaya, or the living lineage of the Guru-disciple relationship. After decades of study on the physical, chemical and biological uniqueness of meditation state and enlightened beings, it has been found that in the normal waking state, the brain waves show that they are in a complete meditative state despite being fully active and engaged. That's what the modern scientific understanding is about the meditative state. In the world of athletics, this state is known as being in the zone, a glimpse into the peak of focus, cognitive function, attention, and coordination, to name a few. Rather than a glimpse, the enlightened beings casually walk, talk, and engage with life, settled in this peak state of focus. That is the main driving point here. What the athletes achieve in just a glimpse of a second, the enlightened beings are able to literally casually live their entire life in that state, the peaceful, blissful state. So naturally, it leads to their entire surroundings and environment to reflect and also manifest a similar state of peace and bliss, which is now being corroborated by the scientific studies as well. Recent studies have also found that we imbibe the body language, behaviors and patterns of those in our environment, not just on the behavioral level, but to the depths of the neurological layer. This is also known as the mirror neuron effect. In this way, there is no better teacher than the enlightened Guru, who, as per modern science, exists as the superconscious biological reproducible anomaly. So basically, the Guru Shishya Sampradaya, the Gurukul, is a perfect laboratory to create spiritually evolved and consciously evolved human beings. Simply by living around an enlightened being, an enlightened master, the spiritual transformation happens in a child, and they grow to become more consciously aware, responsible adults who operate from this completion state, the state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, without any powerlessness, without any fear or greed, taking all the decisions from the state of completion, from the state of peace. And that is the state we all should strive to achieve. First, in the inner space, being in the state of peace. Especially the world leaders also, they need to practice Samadhi, as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares, so that their own inner space is transformed, and then the decisions which come out from that space, peaceful space, will be beneficial for all the people who they are responsible for. That's how we can actually bring real transformation in the world, create a world with peace, prosperity, non-violence, no conflict. For this, we need to put our collective effort to practice Nirvikalpa Samadhi, to practice the unclutching meditation which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has gifted all of us with, and which just naturally becomes part of the child in KAILASA's Nithyananda Gurukul, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving all over the globe. Through centuries of invasions, colonialism, and continued persecution against Hinduism and Hindu tradition, the science of knowledge transmission has been diminishing at an unprecedented rate. So the revival of this knowledge system, which is almost at the brink of complete elimination, that is the mission of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, through Kailasa, reviving this ancient knowledge transmission system. 10,000 universities and 200,000 gurukuls, they were destroyed just in a couple of states. And if we actually take the number of the entire destruction that has happened, of the whole Hindu Holocaust that has happened, so many libraries, so many universities, gurukuls, the entire whole education system, the Hindu education system, has been completely eliminated, destroyed by the anti-Hindu forces today. And it is thus the mission of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to revive this education system, the ancient indigenous Hindu education system, to empower the humanity once again to live a life aligned with the true purpose of our existence, and to create and to become a co-creator in a world without any conflicts, and in a world which collectively is aligned to the fundamental principles of the cosmos and flows with it, achieving all the goals, both of the outer world and the inner world. That is the whole vision of Hinduism itself, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving now. There's a picture of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism with Gurukul kids. The inauguration of the Nithyananda Gurukul in Adi Kailasa in 2006. How this whole journey actually began, and we see the students of the Nithyananda Gurukul practicing yoga and meditation under the sacred banyan tree in Adi Kailasa, Nithyananda Sarvagna Peetham, a very powerful spiritual ecosystem, an energy field which can directly transform a human being just by being in that presence of that energy. Again, collective meditation session, which the students of Kailasa and Nithyananda Gurukul continuously take part in. This is the usual academics, yoga, athletics, all the various activities, even the various art forms which the students of the Nithyananda Gurukul take part in. Vakyartha Sadak and various other activities, creating the leaders for tomorrow. Basically, that is the vision of Kailasa's Nithyananda Gurukul. Creating world leaders who operate from that heightened state of super consciousness and take all the decisions without any powerlessness, without any ego, with complete compassion and wisdom and completion for the betterment of the entire humanity. That is how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is ensuring a world with peace and harmony. And on this International Day of Peace, we are just sharing with the entire world the efforts, the tireless efforts of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, and the Kailasa, the first Hindu nation, in transforming the entire world from the very fundamental levels, from the very education system itself, ensuring we create conscious leaders for tomorrow and a conscious humanity to ensure the world peace permanently. We see how even in the day-to-day academics and how the students of Kailasa Nithyananda Gurukul, they actually outperform their peers in the outer world. For example, with less hours of study needed and much more better heightened performance. And likewise, just like Gurukul, the Nithyananda Hindu University is the world's largest Hindu university established around the globe with 450 plus campuses in more than 150 countries, available to the public from 2003 onwards. The aim of the Nithyananda Hindu University being the reviving and preserving the world's most ancient lost knowledge in a user-friendly way. With 20 million enrollments and still counting, more than 7,000 courses available. And recently, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has opened all the courses and the advanced degree programs like PhD, diploma, and in various different fields where people can apply and be benefited from these courses and study all the various ancient sciences of Hinduism, of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, and we actually get a degree in it. So that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has shared his vision of how he wants to get the people from all across the globe together and make them co-creators in this journey of creating a transformed society, of reviving Kailasa, of reviving Sanatana Hindu Dharma through this revival of ancient knowledge systems. Despite the relentless attacks against the life, character and image of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, he goes on sincerely contributing everything he has for the world. From the field of nutrition to education, from protection of religious freedom to the revival of indigenous tradition, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has sincerely contributed in every field. This has not gone unnoticed by the world's dignitaries, statesmen, leaders, and multi-faith diaspora as well, as we are going to see and witness various peace conclaves and conventions, seminars, sessions, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has himself been a part of, also being attended by various dignitaries, state-level dignitaries, spiritual leaders, religious leaders, leaders in the field of yoga, politics, various different dimensions, all of them recognizing the efforts of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the contributions he is making. As we see various world leaders coming forth and commending the work of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, giving their proclamations, and recognizing him as a humanitarian peace ambassador. This one is from the Canadian Member of Parliament. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism receiving commendation from him, from Honorable Jim Carrigianis in the year 2009. And as we go on and on till the current date, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has received countless commendations and proclamations from various world leaders, influencers, stakeholders, statesmen, people of repute. Here we see the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism with Sri Rajiv Malhotra, who is a known researcher, writer, speaker on current affairs as they relate to civilizations, cross-cultural encounters, religion and science. Here we see the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism with Sri Pramukh Swami Maharaj, the respected president of BAPS, Swami Narayan Samstha. We see various diplomats, delegates, statesmen, everyone recognizing, the entire global community is now recognizing the efforts of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, is recognizing the importance of Kailasa in today's world, the great contribution which Kailasa is making, and how it is transforming the entire world. This one especially in 2012, recognizing his untiring commitment to humanity, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivoham, was declared as the 293rd Guru Mahasannidhanam, the Supreme Pontiff of the Kailas zone of the Shamala Pita Sarvagnya Peetham, the Madurai temple ecosystem, which is one of the most powerful ancient Hindu spiritual ecosystems on planet Earth, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism declared as the successor. So we see the entire world leaders, the global community, recognizing the efforts of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and Kailasa in creating a more peaceful and prosperous world today. And we are now ready to receive the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, on this very special occasion of the International Day of Peace, with a special live presidential address from him. Let's all get together in a receptive space to be ready for the live presidential address by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Let's all sit in a completely relaxed manner with our head, neck and spine in a straight line, carrying a deep space of restful awareness and devotion in our Ananda Gandha, which is the space between our navel center and our heart center. And chant the Mahavakya Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, invoking the presence of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, in our inner space, and get ready to receive his darshan. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.